World building versus dungeon mastering. Alright, let's clear the air about something that often gets muddled in the realms of tabletop RPGs. World building and DMing are two different beasts. World building is like being the architect and a historian rolled into one. You are setting up the bones of your world and fleshing it out with cultures, histories, and geographies. It's a task where you, as the creator, decide if mountains defy gravity, or if forests are haunted, or filled with cute fae creatures. But here's the kicker. An elaborate world on its own doesn't necessarily make for a great game. That's because DMing isn't the same as world building. It's something else entirely, and I think a lot of DMs forget that setting up the world is not the same as running it. World building is intricate, detailed, controlled. And then there's dungeon mastering. DMing is about taking that world and making it come to life with a group of live players. At its essence, it's about storytelling, guiding a group through an experience that is by nature collaborative and often unpredictable. A DM adapts, reacts, and facilitates the story as it unfolds in the moment, usually trying to make sense of pure chaos. And I think other DMs can chime in. Players are chaos. Now, it's a common pitfall to equate the two. Believe me, when I was a young DM, I did the same, to believe that because you've etched every rune on the Lost Temple, you've also got a grip on running a gripping session. Unfortunately, that's just not how it works. But in fact, DMing is about what happens when your players interact with that temple. It's about the here and the now, not just the lore and the backstories. DMing is done at the table, while world building is done long before the players show up at the table. DMs out there, have you ever been running a session and you can literally feel your players getting bored? I know I have. If you have ever felt like your game sessions could use just a little bit more life like me, then give me just a few seconds. Let me show you today's sponsor, Describe. So what is Describe? Well, honestly, I thought a lot about how to describe Describe, pun intended, and it's the difference between reading about a stormy sea and actually feeling it, right? The chill as the thunder rolls and the waves crash, all perfectly timed with your story, all at your fingertips. And it's because Describe isn't just bringing sound, it's literally giving life to your adventures, from a massive array of maps to epic battle sounds and ambience and sound effects and immersive text that's already written for you, all the way to truly beautiful music. Honestly, the music alone should win some awards, and it all just makes your sessions so unforgettable. And the best part is that it's created by players for players, so all it takes is one subscription for the whole table. I promise you, if you are one of those DMs that wants to make that leap to make your table just that much better for your players, check out Describe and bring your next session to life. It's the tool I always wanted whenever I ran a game. I'm super excited that I found it. So click the link in the description. Just give it a look. You're already on the internet. Just click the thing, take a peek. And if you want to take the dive, create your account and use my code FantasyForge. So to all the dungeon masters out there meticulously drawing their coastlines and filling those history books, remember, your story starts when the players step into the scene. The world is your stage, but the players are the actors, and it's your job to direct the play, not just build the set. And speaking of history books and world building, if you haven't already checked it out, you can scan this QR code and get a copy of our World Weavers Workbook, which is sort of an activity book that asks you questions to help guide you in your world building endeavors. And if you're on mobile, just screenshot the QR code and you should be able to access it in your photos. Maybe. Also subscribe, because I said so. Now let's get those comments going. How do you differentiate between these two roles in your own games? And now it's time for some quick shoutouts. Charlotte Katakuri says, "Hello, Tobias." Well, Tobias says hello. Torben Verhasselt says, "First time I find the Displacer Kitten. Gahagaga." Did you smash your head into the keyboard? Brian Furby 4579, great catch. Bella Terry, also great catch. Now, if you were paying attention in today's video, leave a timestamp with where you saw Tobias, and you just might get shouted out in the next video. As always, thank you so much for watching. Forge on, my friends, and we'll see you next time, adventurers.